Okay, great. Well,
Okay, all right.
My name is Anthony Amos. I go by the name of DJ Double A1K. I am what I call an entertainment activist, and I wanted to say big ups to the group before because one of the videos I was going to play was the Mathematics Most Def joint, but since they already did it, I don't feel bad in not playing that. So anyway, um, let's go ahead and get started. So, can hip hop move the crowd? And according to Manny Fresh, aka Manny Face, yes, it can. All right. So, my presentation, I wanted to kind of expand. I feel like it's really a recap of what has happened already today because pretty much every presenter has kind of talked about a lot of the things that I wanted to bring up. But I wanted to kind of expand the idea of what hip hop actually is and what it could do. Because we already know about the whole issue with critical race theory and all of these things that are happening in Missouri and Florida with DeSantis, getting rid of AP African American Studies and stuff. So I was like, well, if that's the case, why don't we use social media? Why don't we use music? Why don't we use art, aka hip hop, to kind of start teaching ourselves and bringing awareness of who we are and how we are, collectively speaking. So, one of the things that I wanted to do was I wanted to start off talking about propaganda because, as we all know, there's been at least a century's worth of propaganda that has been played against marginalized people, from black people, brown people, Asians, people that have disabilities, and gay and trans people. So I just wanted to kind of show some of the stuff that has happened to us, coming from the black community standpoint, as to what has created the society that we're in now. So enjoy.
Don't beat me, master. Please don't beat me, master.
This was on popular television. Remember that. Got Lazy Town with lazy laundry, lazy people, and the idea of blackness being scary.
We won't be safe in Africa.
So what do you do?
Guys ourselves.
Yes. And there is a museum that has all of this stuff. Birth of a Nation that played at the White House and pretty much is instrumental to basically what a lot of people think about black people with the laziness and wanting white women and rape and all of that sort of stuff. But I had to change it up because, of course, the music was classical and all of that stuff, but I wanted to put something different underneath it. She's so scared she's going to jump off a cliff. And she does, and that's what happens, is that he gets basically ostracized and killed by the Klan, and everybody is so happy, right? Because the Klan became the savior of the day. So, anyway, that's propaganda. So, the reason why I played that is I wanted to basically put in everybody's minds and in their thoughts and their ideas. Can hip hop do the same thing? Well, we've had Negro spirituals, right? Where, you had songs that were, gospel songs like Wade in the Water. But a lot of people don't know that Wade in the Water was actually a song to kind of deflect to the overseers that they were happy Negroes and telling the Negroes how to escape by getting into the water, and that the water will God will trouble the waters, which means that it would basically erase away your scent, so that you had a better chance of escaping. And there are a lot of things that these supposedly uneducated 3/5 of a human being were able to do, that we should be talking about and should be common knowledge, like weaving gold and food into their hair and using their hair to create maps so that they knew how to escape and where to go. And then, during the civil rights movement, the blue books and stuff like that. So my question is, can hip hop do the same thing? And I believe, again, like I said, yes, it can. The way I look at hip hop is kind of sort of different, but not really that different. Throughout the day, we've talked about the various elements of hip hop, B-boys, B-girls, graffiti, MC, DJing, and all of that. And then, of course, the fifth element being knowledge, and then variations and iterations off of that to get up to 9 or 15 or however many different elements of hip hop. All of those are very powerful and very necessary. So that's one of the things that I wanted to point out. The second point, which I think we tend to forget in a lot of situations, hip hop started in New York by 15 to 20-year-old men or boys. So teenagers started this whole movement, and they did some incredible things. They were very creative and innovative. So when we as elders come and talk and we kind of diss the younger generation, to me, it doesn't make sense because we were that age when it started, So for us to come with this idea that somehow we are so much better than the younger generation and we can't learn from the younger generation just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think that's one of the things that we need to kind of address. Plus, hip hop is also braggadocious, right? Hip hop talk big games and so on, to the point where couldn't that be used to kind of change the mindset and the status quo of things that are going on around us right now? I think so. So anyway, here's an example of what I think hip hop could do.
You women better wake up if you want to help to change America around. You do the work. You better wake up. And don't be afraid. Have confidence in yourself. And the ability that you have is ability and talent given to you by God. And don't let anybody use you. Don't let people continue to use you and to manipulate you. The only thing that you have is your integrity and the principles and the convictions of what we're fighting for in America. In terms of opening up this system so that a lot of people can really feel that they can participate in it and not have that small, tight few that continues to manipulate every one of us.
Got a whole squad dressed in all black and the streets on notice. What up? They want us in the same place. Ain't nobody ever gonna really change nothing.
Ciroc.
Hello, this is revolution. Get on up.
So in that video, I wanted to use atypical images of women working together to talk about what they can do and that they actually have the power to be able to make decisions and to change things. So there's a woman that's disabled, there's a trans woman in there, different nationalities, a DJ, dancers, all of that sort of stuff. So basically taking everything that encompasses who we are, we can use that for the betterment of our communities. And then we can also challenge different social or status quo kind of information like name calling. So here is my wife, Kamisha Jones, talking about something that I'll just let her tell you about.
To every man whose masculinity is not threatened by being called a pussy, they will believe they are calling you weak. But know the vagina is all muscle, long, strong muscle, meant to lift babies from womb to world, heave the largeness of life not just up and over, but through lemon-sized openings. Ask them if they ever tried to carry that kind of weight between their thighs. They will intend to belittle you. Remember that the walls of the vagina have wingspan, stretching themselves 2 or 3 or more times wider than their small beginnings. They make room for love to enter and blossom. Remind them that vaginas, like umbrellas and minds, should never be measured solely by their width when closed. They will want you to feel less than. Tell them the clitoris has twice the nerve endings as a penis, that it specializes in multiple orgasms, 3, 6, 9, a dozen, sometimes even 100. The penis It can climax only once. Final score, 100-1. Now you tell me which is less than. My brother. It all boils down to this. In a lot of ways, you really are a pussy. Your confidence has birthing energy. New things will come through you, things that seem too big for who you believe yourself to be. Things like fairness and respect and gender equality. You will parent new permission for being fearless and compassionate and simultaneously a man. You will bring ecstasy to a world that has forgotten that we all entered here through the sturdy doorway of some woman's body. Yes. You are a pussy. And that surpasses what it means to get some balls, because let's face it, those things are just so sensitive, so prone to falling fetal. They know nothing about bouncing back from being routinely pounded and probed and bloodied. You have the kind of strength I only know from what lies between my legs. So, the next time someone tries to insult you by using my genital anatomy, you just look them straight in the eye and say, thank you.
Yep. So all the guys in this workshop that are listening to this, guess what? Y'all are pussies, because y'all are doing the work to build communities, to widen the gap of what hip hop can be, and of course, loving all the people that are in our communities, regardless of who they are, what part of the spectrum they're on, and so on. So I just wanted to play that because, straight up bars, right? All right. So imagine having this kind of stuff that is basically in our mainstream culture, whether it's on the radio or on social media or any of these other platforms that are out there, what we could do. Because I think part of the issue is that there's a disconnect between the scholarship community or the scholar community and the masses. And I believe that for any of these actions to really make a difference, to change, is that we need the masses to get it. So I think Tasha was saying earlier about the Each One Teach One, where, some go out to colleges and so on and get the education, but the premise was to bring it back to the other people so that they too could also get that information and that knowledge. Now, as I speak, I'm not talking about eradicating or eliminating what is already out there, because I think that's one of the problems, is that we have this idea that you have to have the conscious stuff or you have to have the quote, quote, ratchet stuff. You can't have both. And the thing is, you catch more flies with honey than you do with salt and vinegar. So if you're expecting somebody to come from that world of twerking and all the braggadocious stuff, which is part of hip hop, and you don't give them that, and you expect them to just kind of automatically go with you over here to a consciousness or whatever, I don't think it's going to work. So I'm actually advocating for adding in and doing it in a lot of different various ways, kind of like what we just witnessed with Kamisha Jones. But also we could do things sort of like this, which I think is a pretty appropriate way of kind of teaching knowledge to our communities. Because, when Obama was elected, we went out in droves, did nothing else to actually support, and didn't even understand the context of what politics is all about. So this is Yellow Pain with his version of My Vote Don't Count, and there's a flip in
I've
it.
been broke all my life, but I kept hope all them nights. You see business in my city? Yeah, they closed all them twice. I was just riding down Salem, all them damn potholes, I can't drive. I know y'all can fix it faster, but I know y'all won't try. Don't nobody care about us, and that's why I don't vote. Voted for Obama back in 2012, I remember that's when I had hope. He was saying, yes, we can, and everybody got less food stamps. And when I turned 21, I was still broke, I'd never vote again. I don't think I ever had a president make my life better. Did it all on my own, ain't no politician ever do a nice gesture. I don't even know the mayor's name, I ain't never seen her one time ever. Tell me how she gonna help the city. What I'm supposed to do, write letters? What I'm supposed to do, blame Trump? He ain't never really gave a, ain't nobody raised minimum wage. None of these these jobs pay enough. I think they just wanna keep us broke, cause they ain't putting nothing in place for us. This how all my people feel, but we gotta learn, we complained enough, let me change it up. Everything I just said, everybody I know think the same way. See, they don't wanna see us vote, and we never do, so we see the same thing. But all our votes really do count, and they'll never really let it show. So now I'm finna break it down, cause if I don't, you would probably never know. First thing first, you know back in middle school when they taught us, it was 3 branches of the government. We forgot it when we got older. It's the judicial, the legislative, and executive. But all we know is the executive. That's the mayor, or the governor, and the president. Now none of them 3 people make no laws, they just be checking them. The laws come to their desk and all they do is say no or yes to it. So when the news station tried to tell us that Barack Obama couldn't put us on, we was all salty at Obama when it was the Congress members all along. We gotta focus on the legislative branch, yeah, they the ones that make the laws. Yeah, they the ones write how much food stamp money you get on the card. But when people that wanted to help us wanted the job, I know they probably lost. Cause we ain't even know their name, we ain't know their face, we ain't know it all. So the Congress or the State House, that's legislative, they make laws. So what we want from the president is what they do, okay y'all? See, they election every 2 years, but we don't ever even go to those. The Congress, they can raise minimum wage, but we ain't even really know it though. So you know how back in 08, when we all voted for Obama, we was all supposed to go back in 2010 and vote for the Congress. Cause they the ones make child support laws, they the ones choose if your kids at school get to eat steak or corn dogs. The State House make the court costs.
So again, what would happen if that was on Main Street or mainstream radio, or basically on the level of, you know, your Futures and all the other different popular hip hop artists that are out there now? What would our society look like? What would our masses look like if we had that kind of information at our disposal and knew this sort of stuff? Because I can guarantee you the vast majority of our communities don't know that. They don't understand politics. They don't understand pretty much a lot of the things because, you know, it's all over here in that aloof academia kind of realm, or basically for white people or whatnot. So the premise is we could use the music to actually teach. And I think one of the other groups was talking about how music could be used to like teach science and so on and so forth. And I got an example of that. This is a guy out of DC by the name of Image. And it's Image without the E because he's such a G. And the name of the song is Atmosphere. I'm going to play a little bit of it for you.
It is my pleasure to welcome you aboard Flight 1111 with service to outer space.
Baby. All right, we about to get it done. Let's go.
Exclusive Pyro.
Flight attendants, prepare doors for atmospheric departure and mic check.
Oh, look, mic check, Image, your captain here. We are now exiting the atmosphere. Now, if you look out your window, what you'll notice here is first we gotta go through the troposphere. Now, that's the troposphere, it's the troposphere. It's the most dense layer of the atmosphere. Everything from the ground up, 9 miles high is the troposphere. That's the troposphere. Now, if you feel it start to get a little cold in here.
So, as you can see, pretty cool way of talking about the atmosphere and the different layers. Lastly, I guess I will play this one piece, which is a mashup that I have done. It's called Who Am I? And I hope you enjoy it.
Let me be it. Your dough's running low, post-pandemic ills. On every single week, double off like Phantom Grill. Sirhan with sumo skill. No more props for moving bricks if you don't build. I click that first responders link. Below membranes, I pin game in Monsters Inc. They overdosed us with hypnosis and hocus pocus. Now the sleepwalkers are telling us what hope is.
Bow down to greatness, no handshake. Me and K-Slay help shape the landscape. Speak my language, I know you can't wait. But first, over 62 movie credits to translate. They just talk the game, I turn midnight strolls to the walk of fame. Oscars, Grammys, I built the ground that you walk on. I taught you how to touch the crown, come on. Emmys and Golden Globes before you blink, love. I don't want every award you could think of. I set it off with Jada without a doubt. Even in Chicago, I was bringing down the house. I've been around the world like Nat Geo, but still hoods. Please don't make me bring back Cleo. No, I use my pen as a weapon. Ain't no second guessing how I became a hood.
Who am I? You wanna know what I did? Well, it started when I was a little kid. Being bullied for my skin color. I was darker than the others, so my sister and my mother said don't hide undercover. So I started up a clothing line, no question. I call it dressing in my complexion to combat racism and colorism. As a result, I've been on television.
Who am I? 30% Reduction in heart disease and stroke, 1 cup of greens per week. 3 cups of fresh berries in a week will lower your risk of dying from heart disease and stroke by an astounding 38%. Berries, a half a cup every day, 82%. Nuts and seeds, another 35%. So greens, beans, berries, nuts and seeds. And we could eradicate heart disease, high blood pressure, and stroke.
Yeah, that's the DJ Amy. So just in closing, I will say that I had a piece about graffiti and also wanted to talk about b-boys and all of that, but I don't want to too badly abuse my time, because I think that, again, having static images of different things that teach us about ourselves is a beautiful thing and can be very powerful. And with b-boys or breakdancing, that's going to be an Olympic event from, well, at least in 2024. So imagine what you could do in front of billions of people with dancers, with subtle and also overt messages, along with the music and so on and so forth. So that's my time. I guess we are going to go to a Q&A period. I hope everybody enjoyed that.
Oh my gosh, I need that song about them talking about the government, because the irony in this, so rap pedagogy in practice, right? I have to teach a class on Monday about the different like functions and branches of the government.
Okay.
And I have like this cool little clip art, but that video says a lot more that I need to say.
Right.
About our knowledge and why we don't know about this. Like, I wasn't even thinking about, okay, I got to teach them because they probably don't know this.
Right.
But I didn't think about the conversation of, I need to teach them also about why we don't know this. Other thing about I want us to mention. So I supervise elections. That's my side gig.
Okay.
And I remember sitting with my students because I knew the numbers, right? So when we had lost an election, I said, if you think about it, and it was a national election, I go, if you count the chairs on this floor at this school right now. So I was in San Diego City Community College. I was like, just this floor,
right?
If everyone voted, it would have changed a national election. Just this floor. So I go, you have to think, I go, look at the numbers. When we say every vote counts, it does vote. But I also, at the same time, when you were playing this, acknowledge, like, I think the rapper was like, well, you just want me to write letters? I also acknowledge a disconnect, that these politicians aren't serving their communities. And so why that's creating a distrust in like the belief of the political system, right?
Well,
or the government.
Well, the other part of that, I think, which is one of the things that I kind of disagreed with on that particular video, was the fact that we have this concept in our community that votes actually make the difference. But yet, when you think about it, the opposing side is paying for their votes. They're paying for the people. We don't get to choose who we actually want to run. We are told who the candidates are, and that you have the ability to choose from them. So I'm advocating, again, the whole idea of education, and letting people know what the actual deal is, so that you can actually start developing plans to actually do something different, to hold people accountable. Because right now, nobody's accountable. I mean, we live in an oligarch society. And we're already told that it's going to be Biden and Trump running, but why? We don't even get to choose. It's like it's already chosen for us. Those are the two, and now you get to choose from those two. But again, that's just a personal thing. And I think, again, we should be having these type of conversations on a community level as well as a scholarly level, because, again, if the masses are better educated and better know what's going on, then they don't have the same issues. They don't run into the same deals, because you can't come with the weak stuff. You're going to have to step up your game. And so that's kind of the thing that I was trying to get with the whole idea of how hip hop could be used to educate and move the masses to do something different, to actually break down the status quo, to do something different. Everybody in this panel is doing that work. We just don't know what's happening. So there needs to be a concerted effort into forming some sort of global plan where all of these pieces fit together and we know how it all works together with everybody that's involved.